And there we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody has had a good week, holiday weekend here. I got to tell you, I heard on the radio, I have XM radio in the truck, and the guy gets on there, and this is Labor Day weekend coming up, right? Labor Day weekend, so extended weekend. Uh, so this guy goes, yeah, remember this is Memorial Day weekend, and let's forget about the veterans who fought and stuff like that. And I heard it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this this isn't Memorial Day weekend. This is Labor Day weekend. So obviously he was a bit confused. I'm sure that he got called out on that one. I'm sure he did. But all right, so I hope everybody is, like I said, I hope you guys have had a great week. It has been a crazy, crazy busy week for me. Um, as you guys have seen. Good though, real good. But anyway, before we get started with anything, I want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented weekend or weekend. Yeah, it's a family-friendly oriented weekend. It's a very family-friendly oriented channel. I'm sorry, brain's not 100% working correct, I guess. Uh, Please be decent in the chat. No nastiness, no racism. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue will boot you out of here because we are not going to have it. And so uh, let's just try to be kind. The other thing, really quickly, that I wanted to mention if there's an issue with the live stream tonight, if we get bumped offline for any reason, I will get back on as soon as I possibly can. So I just wanted to put that out there ahead of time. Give me 1 second here, guys, and I'm going to kill the volume on this. All right, there we go. All right. Okay. So, yeah, crazy, crazy turnaround on this building. I'm going to break it down for you guys that don't know what's going on with the building. So Sunday I was out, and I'm just out of the blue. I'm like, you know what? I'm right here. I went to the bank, and across the street is one of the building places that are, they're all over the place. Let me go in here and take a look around. So I'm looking around, and I see the building that we ended up getting, and I'm going, wow. So people were asking me what the price was. So I'll go ahead and tell you because I don't care. Um, so the uh, the normal price for one of those buildings is $7,500 or $7,700. Okay, it was 25% off because it was a repo, and so it was $5,700 for the building. And so the decision was made. Made the got it, called them. The guy said, "Well, can you come in Monday and do the paperwork?" And I went, "Yep, I sure can." So Monday I went in and did the paperwork, and I said, "Well, how long before the building can be delivered?" And he said, "Well, it's within a week to 2 weeks, generally nothing later than 2 weeks." And I went, "Okay." So that night, Monday night, while I was doing my live stream for the hardcore members, on the channel here, I my phone, goes off, and so after the stream was over, I call the number, and it's the guy saying, "Hey, we can deliver that building for you on Wednesday." And I'm like, "Holy crap!" But you should have put a big screen in the field to watch football with a fire. But yeah, there you go. That would be funny. Um, but anyway, so then all of a sudden, now here was Monday night, so I'm going, okay, I have tomorrow, which would have, at that day would have been Tuesday, to get that area ready, clean it all up, get everything moved, get the grass cut down. People were like, well, why didn't you get it leveled out and all this? Did not have time. Did not have time. It's flat. It's not 100%. It's like on a slight incline. Not. I wish it was straight flat, but it's not. It's what it is. It is what it is. So he came in, and what they do when they bring the building in, they level it out for you, and they go, okay, now it's level. The door shuts fine. You're good. He said I could double block it for you. He said, but that cost another $100 if I do that. And I went, No, I'll do it myself. So when you saw the video today was when I put the two piers in, to block it up myself. And yes, I did get more secured, Larry. You'll see that tomorrow's video. You'll see it in tomorrow's video that I got both sides, squared away where that if there's a shift, it's landing right there and it's not going anywhere. So it's going to be absolutely fine moving forward. Now, I want people to remember something, all right? What I have here in West Virginia, where that area was, that where that area is, a lot of that was clay and dirt that had gotten moved and had been pushed down this way. Actually, more clay than anything else. They got pushed down this way when the bulldozer guy opened up, where I parked my truck, that where the well is, that whole area. Part of that dirt was pushed over there. So it's not topsoil. It's not great. It's not sand. That is hard packed clay. That's not going anywhere. Okay, but it's not going anywhere. And so I want you to realize that too. So I'm not dealing with dirt or sand like a lot of people are, and I get it, and I get that. But that building is going to it's in good spot. It's going to be really really good. What do they call that rig that he drove? It's called a they call that a mule that they use. Actually, it's really cool how they do. And so he can operate that mule either by being or standing near it. And so, because when he was coming in, he walked in most of the way into the property because he had to watch the sides and, go from this side to that side to look to see and making sure that he had the clearance and everything. So, I mean, once he got into the meadow and it was open, then he could get on and he could ride it in that way. So, but yeah, and they used the mule the first time when we did Eric's Big Blue House. So that was brought in by a mule as well. So, but they're really really neat, and that's what that guy does for a living. He delivers buildings. So he was like, oh no, this isn't so bad. He goes, I've delivered buildings in worse places than this, and I told him, I said, well, we've really upgraded the road over the last year. So, but yeah, it was. I'll tell you. So it was 4 days. By the time when I looked at the building to the time the building was delivered, it was 4 days. So I had really not a lot of time to get prepped. Actually, Roy's down here, and he got in last night, and so he's staying in it right now. So, that's where he's going to be for the next week. 10 days, Roy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. So yeah, so he'll be here, for that whole time period. So, um, but yeah, so it's but I'll tell you, I had to laugh. I mean, I had some people were like, "How can you be so excited about something like that? How could you not be?" You know what I mean? It's making what we have here better. We got a place now where if we put two sets of bunk beds in there, we could actually fit four sets of bunk beds in there. There's enough room to do that, but we're probably just going to use the two bunk beds. So four grown men sleeping in there is going to be more than enough. But gives us another spot that we can have. The members of my group down here can come down. They can, when the weather turns to complete dog crap, or even if it doesn't, they have a place to go. They can be, inside at night, and it's just to me that's super exciting, and you know, it's coming together, and everything's looking better. The property's getting cleaned up. Hey, Akeem, thank you very much. Yeah, it's just what you have to understand. We're progressing. We're making progress. We're getting more things done. I mean, this wasn't something that we were like, hey, let's get another building in here. This kind of fell into our lap. We had the opportunity to get it at a decent price. And so it was like, it was decided that, yeah, this is the right move to make at this time. And that's why we did it, you know. Um, you know, and it's awesome because again it gives us another place for people to come down. They can sleep in there. They can be, if it's raining or whatever, it's just another option, and it's a great thing, and so it's exciting. and we're going to turn part of the porch into a shower. And, that's exciting as well. So, actually, Roy brought down some treats. I actually brought down 2 bags of treats for Miss Hella. So, what you got? Oh, when you guys, okay, so I'll let you know what goes on with YouTube, Larry. Okay, so the donation that you made this last month, because now we're in September, this last month, I won't get that money to the end of this month, right? So that I don't get that money to the end of this month. But you have to also remember that when the donation is made in the live stream, YouTube takes 30% right off the top. So if you give $10, let's say, if you make a $10 donation, YouTube's taking $3 off the top of that, right off the top. So it's not like you see all of it. You don't. And that's part of dealing with, the business of YouTube. It's highway robbery. Yes, I don't disagree with that, but that's how it goes. But yep. So that's where we're at with that. So, but like I said, real exciting. Glad to have it in here. Glad to have that part of it, done. You know, I blocked up the both ends on the far end. You know, I could always put another pier in there on that end. But when are you taking that Harley out, Larry? I'm going to tell you what. And I was saying this earlier to somebody. I said I have been busier, and I used a different word, but I'll use the appropriate language here. I said I have been busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. I have not had a chance to get out. I do want to get out on a bike. I will tell you that I definitely want to get out on a bike. But next weekend is the get together, so we'll have everybody coming down next weekend. Roy's here this week, and so Roy and I are going to be working on things. It's good to have an extra set of hands when you're trying to get something done, and it makes all the difference. Could also use as a quarantine area. Actually, Michelle, what we're going to do for a quarantine area, if we get to that point, we had talked with Sandy. Her tent, which is up here, over here that you guys see when you come in, we would use her tent as a quarantine area if we needed to do that down the road. To say something happened and people were sick, that would be a good spot to have people get a bunch of cots in there, and and have people there being recovering in that area. And you could use the front part of the tent because it's got the front part. That could be the changing area where you gown up and whatever you got to do and mask up before you go in and deal with the sick people. And you could also get some folding cots, easy to store away when not in use in the cabin. Yep, I actually, Frank, the cot right now that Roy's using is one of the cots that I had here. I have 3 or 4 of those. Other people got cots down here as well. I mean, there's a bunch of cots down here already. And again, when he leaves, he'll fold that up, put it back in to a thing which that by that. So and then that can be leaned into the corner. So it doesn't have to be, you know, all that, up all the time. So, but yeah, it's like I said, it's the whole thing is exciting. It was like really really fast turnaround, unbelievably unexpected to be honest with you, and but really cool. So just another step into what we're trying to do down here. It's I'll share something with you that I was talking with some of the group members about too. We were talking about like last winter when we had a canopy, right? We had the canopy out here, and we're sitting underneath the canopy because it was either raining or snowing or whatever it was doing. We had the fire pit, and we're trying to cook meals over the fire pit, being out in the wind and the rain and the snow, and it was not a lot of fun. It's not a lot of fun, right? And what I told the guys last winter, I said, I want you guys to remember this. This will be the worst ever. Moving forward is going to do nothing good but get better. You know what I mean? So, but and that's the reality. I mean, look at now, we have, the pavilion is functional, it's functionable. The last three get-togethers, even before we had the floor in the pavilion, people were in the pavilion. Once we had the roof on there, people were hanging out in the pavilion. So it's just it's awesome, and it's like I said, it's been a tremendous amount of work, and that happens. But so what are we at 254 in the chat, guys? We're at 96 on the thumbs up. Yeah, I do plan on putting flags up, Carol. I just, like I said, I've been very, very busy organizing, cleaning up. I mean, once we got the new storage shed in, and then I had to put up the other canopy, and actually, Larry, I did a group text with my group, and I said we got to name the new building, and actually the name that they came up with that I really liked was the Wolf's Lair, and I think that's more along that Viking Norse theme. So I believe that building will be known as the Wolf's Lair. And one of our guys in the group, Bud, does metal fabricating, and he made the Raven's Nest sign for the pavilion. And so he said he would make another sign for the new building over here, and we're going to call it the Wolf's Lair. And the other thing we're going to do is, and I couldn't tell you how to pronounce the name, but in Norse, it is to wash. So there's this name that we're going to have, like when we get the shower area built, and as you walk into the shower area, it's going to have a template plate over the top of it that is going to have this name in Norse, that's going to say the wash, like wash up area. So pretty neat. I don't know. I like that type of stuff. I think that's interesting. And, as we end up getting more buildings, and people will, they'll call up and they'll be like, hey, can I reserve one of the bunks in the Wolf's Lair? You know what I mean? So that I like that. I just think that's neat. So that's where we're at with that. All right. So now that we've been talking about this for almost 20 minutes, and I still haven't opened up my green tea. Very nice. But yeah, like I said, anything. And if you don't mind me asking, how much was the new cabin? I just talked about it, Frank, but I'll tell you again. They're normally 7,700. We got it for 5,700. That's how much the building cost. But yep, so 5,700. So not see, to me, people. Well, why don't you just do this, or why don't you just do that? Why don't you just do this? Time frame constraint wise, I want you to think about how much time and money we have put into the pavilion. Okay, a lot of time, a lot of man hours and woman hours, and a lot of money went into that pavilion. It's actually realistically easier to go, okay, if I get we can't go more than 10 foot wide down the road. That we know. Okay, so we're limited lengthwise or widthwise of these buildings to be 10 foot wide, but we can do the first building was 10 by 16. This building is a 10 by 20. We could, if we wanted to have a custom building built, we could go 10 by 24 or 10 by 28. That could be done. And once it's here and once it's in place, right, we can always add an addition onto it once it's here. So it's actually cheaper, if you will, in the long run, to go ahead and buy a building and get it in, and then work on the inside as you have the time. Because like this winter, obviously we're not gonna have a ton done. I have some rock wool insulation left over from the blue house, right, when I put the rock wool insulation in there. So I'll be grabbing that and I'll be utilizing that as much as we can into this new place. And so we'll do that. But this winter, when anybody's staying in there, unless we get a wood stove in there before the snow flies, which we may not. I don't know. Okay, so I'm not saying we're definitely going to do this. It might be heated this winter with propane, so it might be a propane heater in there, keeping it warmer for anybody that's in there this winter. I definitely want to make sure we get it all the way insulated before the snow flies. But once again, everything that you are doing, it all costs money. So, nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens overnight. But I'll tell you, the progress that we have made this year, looking back, and here we are, this is September 1st. We have September, October, November, December. We still got 4 more months left of the year. But what we've accomplished in the 8 months so far this year, beyond my expectations. I will tell you that right now. The group has grown a lot since January of this year. And that just all these things take time. But I want you to think about too. My property in New York, that took me 8 years, 8 years up there to get it to where it was going. All right, I'm not doing it alone this time. I have a really good group of people working together. We're looking at making our situation when the time comes that we have a lot of infrastructure already in place, and that's what it's about. And so, it's pretty exciting. I'm not going to lie. I'm happy about where we're at. What I wish there was more done. Of course, I always wish there was more done, but in the big picture is it's coming together and going to continue to come together. So, but again, really quickly, I want to mention if there's an interruption with the stream, the internet has been giving me fits and stuff like that. If we have a problem, I will get right back on as soon as I possibly can. And so if this thing ends and you go, hey, what happened? I'll be right back on as soon as I possibly can be. Okay, just putting that out there ahead of time. Not trying to jinx anything, but that's kind of how it is. Okay, so let's actually go to the topic that I had up there. Right? What was the topic? The topic was, are we being lied to? So the answer to that is yes. Okay. Good night, everybody. No, I'm only kidding. You know, yeah, we're never going to be told the whole truth ever. That is a fact. We are given the information that they want us to know. That's it. Nothing more. One of the things I would talk about with that. Okay, let's talk about this part of it. Talk about Taiwan and the China situation and us. We just approved, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, an $80 million package. I believe they also approved a $500 million package for Taiwan. But initially, we're giving Taiwan an $80 million package to, help them defend themselves. Okay. Well, obviously, China is not happy about that. They say that we're going against the one China policy. But just because China claims Taiwan is theirs and Taiwan is saying, no, we're an independent country and we don't want to be under Chinese rule, you know, there's the conundrum. And, how many times, I think it was at least twice, that Biden came out and said, we're going to defend Taiwan. And then, of course, his handlers backpedaled and said, no, he didn't mean that, because they're trying to still appease China to some point. It is my opinion that it is only a matter of time before America building Newport in the Philippines too expensive. Yes, we'll talk about that a little bit too, Viking Prepper. It is my opinion that it is only a matter of time before China says we're going and we're taking Taiwan. We are building up our defenses in that region, including the Philippines. If you guys remember, we have talked about this before with the four different, they were former U.S. bases in the Philippines that are now reopening under American control once again. And they all happen to be right on that area facing China. Imagine that, right? You've seen, I don't know if you've seen in the news, how the Chinese Coast Guard has been using water cannons because there's an island, a contested. All these islands are contested, which kind of blows me away too, right? And of course, China is claiming everything. We'll talk about something else here in a minute. But so China says remove this. They have a World War II wreck sitting on this shoal, is what it is, and used that as an observation post to monitor what's going on with China in the South China Sea. And so what's happening is China's like when these boats are going out to resupply that, China's been hitting them with water cannons, causing all kinds of problems with them, and telling them to remove that off of there. So China's kind of being bullies, okay, with that whole thing. Not that America, not that the United States of America has ever been bullies. No, not us. We're the saviors of everybody. Don't you guys know that? Come on. You know, as long as you do what you're told, we'll help you. That's all. But anyway, so you got that situation. Now there's another island that is in contention with Russia and China. And there was some new map that came out. The Chinese put out this new map saying, yeah, the island is, is there. Oh, the shirt, it's just, this is a shirt, guys, that I picked up. It's Harley Davidson when I was out there a couple of years ago. So I was doing a motorcycle tour 3 years ago now. Yes, 3 years already. Holy crap, time flies. But yeah, I picked up this shirt in Utah at one of the Harley places when we were making our rounds and stopping. So if it's buffering, Viking Prepper, sign out and then sign back in, because I'm not having any issues on my end. So if you guys are buffering at all, just sign out and then come back in. Okay. So, but anyhow, so what do we got? 336 in the chat, guys. We're at 144 in a thumbs up, which is not even half. So again, if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do that to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. So the more interaction we have, the better it is for the channel. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you for that as well. Beautiful day down here at the homestead today. I think we hit like 80 degrees, and but there was a nice breeze. So if you were sitting in the pavilion,